Hello, welcome to Nuts Today. I'm Al. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope it was a good one. Thanks for being here. This is what's coming up just for you. We have heard concerns from businesses and train passengers after EMR confirmed Nottingham Station's footbridge will shut again.
So I know why they're doing it, because they're saying that people are skipping the barrier and not paying fares, but no need to go totally over the top. If they just had proper ticket inspectors on the train, it wouldn't be a problem.
And we'll take another close look at the state of Nottingham's council house. Historians have called for a programme of works to clean and fix the building, but the council said it's not in the list of priorities, and we'll hear why that is in just a few minutes. And we'll head to the Nottingham Sixth Form, told by Ofsted inspectors that its education is outstanding.
I didn't think I was going to go on to higher education, but actually the teachers gave me a lot of support and guidance, and they were able to help me realise my potential. They also continuously pushed me to go for different opportunities.
We're also going to go to a new shop which is supporting Broxtowe Women's Project to help more people in need across the borough.
For any small charity, it is difficult to get funding, particularly now. We needed to diversify our funding, generate that to pay for our services so that we can reach more women and children.
In sport, Forest were in 7th heaven at the weekend when they thrashed Brighton. We've got reaction from that win at the City Ground.
I think we started well, the game, really well. The own goal helps. We got lucky in that moment, even though it was a good movement of the team.
First today though, the footbridge over Nottingham Railway Station will close for a second time, maybe even permanently, as East Midlands Railway continued to clamp down on fare evaders. The rail company confirmed the news late on Friday. That means from later this month, passengers have to enter and exit through the station's main entrance on Carrington Street. EMR says fare dodging was causing a loss of more than £1 million, but the decision has been criticised by businesses and local politicians, so Jack Sims has been to find out why.
A bridge too far? That is the question being asked by passengers and business owners as East Midlands Railway announces its second closure of Nottingham's train station's footbridge. The footbridge provides passengers with access to both Queen's Road and Station Street without needing to go through the ticket barriers at the station's main entrance. It also allows people to move between platforms as well. EMR originally trialled a closure back in October last year, suggesting the route was being used by fare dodgers and costing the operator over £1 million a year. But last Friday, the train company said it will once again be shutting the footbridge on February the 22nd, though pedestrians can still access the bridge. The decision has been criticised not just by passengers but by politicians too, with MPs Lillian Greenwood and Nadia Whittome saying that they were disappointed by the move. But the closure could also be causing losses for other businesses too, such as Pete Russell, co-owner of Hopkinson Cafe Bar and Antiques. He says, like the public, they don't feel the impact of the closure is being considered.
I think the main issue in this situation is that there doesn't seem to be much compromise from EMR at all. There doesn't seem to be much consideration of the public, the council, the local businesses. It's just what they want to do, they're going to do. Their clientele is the public. So to go so blatantly out of their way to just ignore what the vast majority of people have been saying about what they've been doing it's a bit scary from a big company like that, really.
We also spoke with passengers about how they feel about the footbridge's future.
So I know why they're doing it, because they're saying that people are skipping the barrier and not paying fares, but no need to go totally over the top. If they just had proper ticket inspectors on the train, it wouldn't be a problem.
I can speak from experience. I get the train from Langley Mill 2 or 3 times a week and hardly ever have my ticket checked. So if they were checking tickets on the train, that would make a lot more sense to me. Also, there's barriers. You can put barriers on the exits from the station and have the bridge carrying on as a footpath through, and passengers can use it then as well.
In a statement, East Midlands Railway have said the closure, which will be kept under review, will allow us to capture more data and evidence on the issue. We are aware this decision will not be popular, but it is only right to protect the taxpayer and test our analysis and conclusions that were highlighted around safety. But by minding its profit gap, the decision by EMR may burn more bridges than it builds. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Right, let's go to something we've been looking at in recent weeks, and that is one of the most iconic buildings in the city now that Wimpey's gone from Broadmarsh. The council house has stood in the old market square for nearly a century, but over recent years its condition has begun to deteriorate. It includes the stone lions, which need a deep clean, and essential repair works to its roof, to the floor and to the facade as well. It's likely to cost nearly £3 million to do it, but putting some of those issues right isn't the top of the priority list for Nottingham City Council at the moment, because of the current financial position. So joining now to talk us through why is our local democracy reporter, Joe Locker. Joe then, so what's the story behind the iconic council house?
Yeah, it is an iconic building, isn't it? Everyone knows it. Everyone who walks through Nottingham will see the the big dome with the clock and potentially hear the chimes of Little John for up to 7 miles away, I think.
Is that how far it is?
Yeah, so it's one of
the
deepest tones in the country, it is. So
good fact.
So yeah, it's pretty fascinating building. I mean, the original Exchange Hall was built back in 1726, so, many years ago. And the consideration for a new town hall dates back to about the 1850s. So, it was in consideration for a long time. Eventually, the council house as we see it today, and the Exchange building sort of behind it, were built between 1926 and 1929. So they're getting old, and obviously with age comes the need for repairs and maintenance and cleaning.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Times in 1968 actually said it's probably still one of the finest buildings outside of London in terms of council buildings. So it's quite a fascinating piece of architecture, you could say.
Yeah.
And as I said, the Little John Bell, one of the deepest tones in the entire country, 7 miles away you can hear it. So
I never knew that in all my Nottingham years. That's brilliant. So what sort of repairs does it need? What sort of maintenance?
Yeah, so an FOI, Freedom of Information request submitted by the BBC and published in December said there's outstanding repairs for the stonework, the dome itself. It's got a leaking roof. It needs repairs to the flooring. So quite a lot of things need doing to it. And this FOI revealed that the cost of this is roughly about £2.8 million. So it's not cheap at all. And Nottingham Civic Society told us last week that, on top of the repairs, it needs cleaning. So, if you look at sort of the side of the building where you go into the Exchange, behind it, there's all sort of pigeon poo.
Yes.
Sort of dripping down, and, you've got the lines which are, turning green almost, I think, so they need a bit of a scrub.
You can't just jet wash them, can you? Because they're old.
Yeah, well, you might end up defacing them at some point, which wouldn't be good.
Don't try that.
Yeah, so, it's quite depressing to look at, the Nottingham Civic Society says, so needs a bit of a spruce up.
So what's the council said about it then?
Yeah, so in its manifesto, actually, so in the Labour group's manifesto ahead of the local elections back in 2023, it said that it will seek to get funding for restoration projects, including the council house. So this has been sort of a long-running plan. However, back in July last year, a full council meeting that I attended, Deputy Leader Ethan Radford said, given the financial challenges the council faces, a spruce up is not high on the list of priorities, he says, so it doesn't seem like anything's going to happen too soon. He did say that only approving essential maintenance, so it's not going to be, it's not going to collapse into disrepair, but it's not going to look its best, I suppose, until things improve financially, you could say.
And I guess if the roof's leaking, that doesn't heal itself either, does it? But so what is the current financial situation then at the moment?
Yeah, it feels like Groundhog Day, doesn't it, talking about this all the time. But I mean, the budget gap for the year starting April 2025 has actually been brought down from £69 million, which was hugely significant, down to £23.4 million. So there's still a big budget gap. So they're still predicted to spend more than what they have. And then over the 4-year period up to 2028-29, that gap has been brought down from £172 million down to 56.8. So there's still significant challenges, as Council Leader Nagat Khan says. They're not out of the woods just yet, but things are improving, and hopefully as things improve, we might see things like the council house get a bit of love and care.
Yeah. If not, are you up for getting a bucket and sponge?
Absolutely.
We'll do it at the weekend.
Let's go
Brilliant.
for it.
Right, let's have a look at some more news headlines now. And the publication date for a review into Nottingham's maternity failings has been put back by 9 months. Senior midwife Donna Ockenden is reviewing decades of failings and deaths across Nottingham University hospitals and has been assessing hundreds of cases since September 2022. She was due to publish her findings this coming September, but due to an increased number of families joining the review, it won't now happen until June 2026. The Trust has assured the public its maternity services have improved since the review launched. And a wanted suspect was stopped by police after speeding away on the A453 near Radcliffe-on-Soar. Officers spotted a car linked to the man in Nottingham about 8:20 last Wednesday evening. The driver travelled at high speeds and overtook several vehicles before police managed to bring it to a stop on Remembrance Way. A 24-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of dangerous driving, failing to stop and drug driving. Police say the suspect is wanted in another force area and remains in custody. Coming up, we'll get reaction to Forest's huge 7-0 thrashing of Brighton. Jude Bellingham has even called it class. And we'll also get the reaction from a pub that gave out 3 pints for every goal that Forest scored. They had no idea there would be 7 of them. Also, why locations of defibrillators across our city are so important. We'll be speaking to them next. Hello, welcome back to Monday's show with me, Al. Hope you're well. This is what's happening in Notts today. Owners of blank firing guns have been urged to hand their weapons in as part of a new amnesty. Nottinghamshire Police is taking part in a campaign led by the National Crime Agency to recover several Turkish-made blank firing guns which will become illegal at the end of the month. Police believe the guns have the potential to be converted into active firearms. The Nottinghamshire Force are taking part in the national 4-week amnesty. There are going to be bins at Newark, Mansfield, Oxclose Lane, Radford Road and Beeston stations until February the 28th. And a 4-storey student block could be built on the site of an old furniture shop near Nottingham Castle. Developer Castle Park View Limited wants to build a new block on Castle Boulevard on land most recently used as zoo interiors. Planning papers say the proposals would be within walking distance of the University of Nottingham's future Castle Meadow campus and would assist in meeting the city's student housing needs. It's because a total of 141 student beds would be created if plans are approved by the City Council. Now, the Broxtowe Women's Project opened its first charity shop this weekend, so more funds can be raised to support its vital services. The organisation helps to empower victims of domestic abuse, providing a helpline, drop-in sessions and outreach services, to name just a few. But the new shop's aim is to raise money to power the life-changing services and offer a public-facing space for people to learn more about what the organisation does. Lucy Marshall went along to the opening to see what it's like.
From Tiffany glass to teddy bears, there's tons of treasures to choose from at Nottinghamshire's newest charity shop. Located in Eastwood, the second-hand haven officially opened its doors on Friday to a crowd of excited customers. All proceeds made in this shop will go towards the Broxtowe Women's Project, which supports people going through problems like domestic abuse. Pretties in the Wood is the project's newest venture, and CEO Colette Byrne is hoping it'll propel the organisation into the wider community.
For any small charity, it is difficult to get funding, particularly now. We needed to diversify our funding, generate that to pay for our services so that we can reach more women and children. One of the reasons that we did open a charity shop as well is because we wanted a hub here in Eastwood. Domestic abuse is ugly and dark and sinister. We want to remove some of that stigma where people can come in and counteract that with something light and beautiful and pretty and safe.
According to UK charity Refuge, the police receive a domestic abuse-related call every 30 seconds, yet it's estimated that less than a quarter of domestic abuse cases are reported. This is why organisations like Broxtowe Women's Project are so crucial for survivors. But despite the upsetting cause behind the project, Friday was a day of commemoration, empowerment and better futures to come. Lord Lieutenant Veronica Pickering got the celebrations underway, officially opening doors to local spenders.
that women and families and communities matter. And I think the shop itself, being here and being in this location, is just perfect. And what a great way of drawing people in to actually tell the story and also offer the information and advice, supporting those with mental health and also saving lives. So I think this is a fantastic project and I really am glad to be here to support it.
Whereas previously, Broxtowe Women's Project left its locations undisclosed due to safeguarding, Pretty's in the Wood now serves as the face of the organisation. That means this shop is ready to greet customers with a smile. Lucy Marshall for Notts TV.
Time for sport now, and there's only one place to start, Nottingham Forest. They certainly made a statement this weekend, didn't they, after bouncing back from the 5-0 defeat at Bournemouth by beating Brighton 7-0. And the victory at the City Ground saw the Trickies cement third spot in the Premier League. Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Woods and an own goal made it 3-0 before half-time, before Woods completed his hat-trick in the second 45. Nico Williams and Jota Silva finished it all off. Here's what Nuno Espirito Santo said on the game.
I think we started well, the game, really well. The own goal helps. We got lucky in that moment, even though it was a good movement of the team. There's a moment that Brighton reacts. He has a 1v1 against Mads, has a ball on the crossbar. That was the moment that we felt a little bit unbalanced and unsure. We got through that moment, and after that I think going forward they were really good. Defensively, really compact. The big guys back solve the problems, and at the same time always with the concern of trying to get out of that. Overall, delighted. More important than anything for us as a club was to give a response.
So it was party atmosphere at the City Ground at the weekend, but that also extended away from the stadium and into the pubs. We were about to talk in one pub in particular which offered up free pints to punters every time Forest scored a goal. They did not expect to let 7 go past though. The Gedling Inn had no idea that it would be 7-0 to Forest against Brighton, and that led to them serving more than 300 pints for free to customers. We went down there today to find out just how bad the damage was and whether there are any sore heads as well.
League, and it's like a pitch invasion. Every time we scored a goal it was like an invasion to the bar, because obviously there's 50-60 people in here and the goals were going in on average every 15 minutes, so you can imagine they didn't even get a chance to finish the first pint. Then there was on to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, so yeah, it was crazy, but it was a buzzing, it was a great atmosphere.
I never thought that they would score 7, we were thinking maybe 2 or 3, but it was nice to give something back to the fans after a big loss the week before.
I'd say close to 300 pints of alcohol. We never tallied up the soft drinks that were given away, and obviously pints of water, but it was close to 300 pints of alcohol.
We just managed to get the Forest games on TV, so we wanted to get it out there to get people to come in and watch and support them. So we just thought we'd put a crazy offer out there to try and get people in, and it worked. Yeah, we're already in talks about doing the offer for the next game. Maybe not as dramatic as this, but definitely do something. When the final whistle was blew, it was a bit of a sign of relief.
Bittersweet, I think they call that. Now, today is transfer deadline day, and just some more Forest news about that. James Ward-Prowse has gone back to West Ham from Forest. So thank you for the memories. Bye. That's showbiz. Right now, before Chris Woods got 3 in the game at the weekend, the last Forest player to score a hat-trick in the top-flight game at the City Ground was Nigel Clough. This weekend, his Mansfield Town side faced Shrewsbury away in League 2. The Stags got off to a flying start with Will Evans opening the scoring in the 5th minute. Goals, though, from John Marcus and George Lloyd in the second half gave the Shrews all 3 points. Mansfield are now 14th in the table. Nigel Clough says his side failed to grab the second goal after scoring.
Just 75 minutes to go, so I don't think any games won or lost in the first 15 minutes. We started well. We didn't take it on from there and get a second goal, which we should have done. They changed shape. We did the same, but all of a sudden after 15 minutes, the way things we were doing, we stopped doing, and they got back into it. Although we were very comfortable. It was funny because when Lee went through and the sending off happened, it's a yard outside the penalty area, and you just think, would you rather have the penalty and play against 11 men? Yes, definitely. But it's just outside. But it was a sending off. We shouldn't lose the game from that position.
Notts County beat Gillingham 2-1 away. David McGoldrick nearly found the back of the net very early on with a finesse shot just going past the post. Nick Sarulia grabbed the first goal with a bit of a scrappy one that dropped him from a corner. All the attention, though, is on the second goal, which you haven't seen. It's well worth a watch. It was David McGoldrick again, but he scored this time with a superb chip over the goalkeeper. Head coach Stuart Maynard says the team is fully focused on trying to get 3 points every weekend.
I thought first half we were absolutely outstanding. I thought we controlled the game from minute one, not minute one to be fair, after 10 minutes. They come out really fast. We knew they'd put it on us. We knew we'd have to weather it a little bit. Long balls in the channel. But after that I think we took control of the total game and we probably should have been 3 or 4 up and it should have been a more of a comfortable win. But you have to give credit to the opposition at times. They come out in the second half and they made a fist of it and they had a go, and you always know that if you don't get the third and put the game to bed, there's always that slight little worry at the end.
Now, Forest women extended their unbeaten campaign in the Women's National League with a 2-0 win away at Halifax. Millie Chandarana and Charlie Welling scored the goals for the Reds to keep them top. Carly Davis' side registered 11 wins, 2 draws and no losses this season in the league. They're above Wolves on goal difference and they've got a game in hand. They're next in action this weekend at home to Liverpool Feds, and we'll have all the reaction to yesterday's win later on in the week. It was a win on the road for the Nottingham Panthers as well, as they overcame the Cardiff Devils in a closely fought game on the ice on Saturday. Danny Stewart's side travelled to the Welsh capital looking to leapfrog their opponents in the Elite League and continue their fine run of form, and they did so thanks to 2 goals from Sam Herr and 1 from Logan Nielsen, which helped them to a 3-2 win. That means the Panthers climbed to 3rd in the table and knocked Cardiff down to 4th. Now, there were no home games this weekend, so that means our usual 2-hour special on Wednesday isn't filled with ice hockey action even. We'll show all the goals in their upcoming match with Glasgow Clan this coming Sunday in the same spot next Wednesday. In rugby, Nottingham were comfortably thrashed by fellow Championship side Coventry in the Cup at the weekend. The sides met in the West Midlands for a Premiership Rugby Cup clash. The home side saw off the visiting Archers in style. Coventry scored 11 tries, with 9 of them converted to record a 76-21 point scoreline. Nottingham scored 3 tries of their own and converted them all, but it wasn't enough to keep up with an informed Coventry side. Next up for the Archers is that trip to Welford Road to face the Leicester Tigers. Photo of the daytime now. Look at this. Makenda Louise took the shot at Trent Bridge. Thank you. Right, weather. It's not so cold tonight, dropping to 5 degrees overnight. It is going to be dry. Tomorrow it's getting warmer, reaching double figures. Highs of 11 degrees. It's going to be dry, a little bit of sunshine, dropping to 2 degrees into Wednesday though. It's a bit parky overnight. Wednesday we will see bright sunshine, dry all day, highs of 8 degrees. Now, if you want to go out tonight, I'm going to have your Monday evening What's On guide for you. And we're also hearing why the British Heart Foundation wants to see more life-saving defibrillators installed in cross parts of Notts. And also, should the kids be allowed to go on holiday, whatever time of the school year? We'll find out soon. Hello, welcome back to Notts Today. I'm Al, this is what's happening. And St Anne's allotments will be brought back under the control of Nottingham City Council after nearly 2 decades. They've been under the stewardship of Hunger Hill Developments Limited for nearly 20 years. The organisation served notice to terminate its lease though after financial difficulties. They're a Grade 2 listed heritage site as well, and among the oldest and largest of their kind in the UK. The Labour Authority says direct management of the land is now the most viable option financially and logistically. And a roundabout near Nottingham's Queen Medical Centre will shut again this weekend as part of bridge repairs. National Highways has been fixing the damaged bridge at the A52 over Middleton Boulevard and closed part of the road last weekend. Full weekend closure will happen on Friday at 8 p.m. until next Monday morning at 6. A new beam will be installed and traffic will be diverted over the roundabout using slip roads. Now, if you're What's On guide, if you're going out tonight, should we see what's on? Go on then, that's what it's called that. Kicking it all off, the Oz Bar on St James's Street has Loose Mondays. Drinks are just £1. Doors open at 9. You can grab tickets on Fat Soma, or over at Unit 13, it's their Dirty Mondays event. Starts at 10:30 and is open all their club rooms for you if you fancy that. Music band Scarlet Riot are performing at the Rescue Rooms tonight as well. That's next to Stealth. Tickets are still on sale. They start at £15. Doors open at 7 for that one. Whatever you're up to tonight, have a good one. Now, residents in Carlton, St Anne's and Mapley are on average nearly 900 metres away from their nearest defibrillator. That's compared with the national recommended 200 metres. That's according to the British Heart Foundation research. It says these life-saving bits of equipment send electric shocks to the heart of someone in a cardiac arrest, which ultimately can save their life. The charity wants to see more defibs dotted around so people can access them. Earlier, I was joined by Senior Programme Manager Sam Kennard to tell us more. But thanks, Sam, for coming on. So first of all, though, how do you decide where the defibrillators need to be situated in the first place?
Hi, thanks very much for having me. It's good to be here. So at the British Heart Foundation, we've used data from the circuit, that's the National Defibrillator Network, to identify where defibrillators are all around the country that ambulance services can direct to, but also, more importantly, identifying where defibrillators aren't. From that, we've found that there are real stark inequalities in terms of access to defibs all around the country. So there are too many areas where there is simply not good enough access to defibrillators. That includes areas such as in East Nottingham, such as in Carlton, St Anne's and Mapley. So at the British Heart Foundation, we've teamed up with Sky Bet to tackle defib inequality all over the country, and we're calling on eligible community groups to come forward and apply for a funded defibrillator package so that their residents can have the very best chance of survival.
Why is there that sort of disparity in the first place? Is it just because defib suddenly came on the scene, didn't they? And it still seems quite a recent addition to the high streets, really.
So now that I've mentioned it, you'll probably see them out and about a lot more. We've at the British Heart Foundation, we've been placing defibs in communities for over 10 years now, because we know they're really important, and we know that for someone to have the very best chance of survival, they need early CPR and they need early defibrillation. So we need community groups to come forward, work with us, and mobilise within themselves to have access to defibs in their areas. We're really grateful to be working with organisations like Sky Bet because, as you say, word has spread, and that's the most important thing, is that we're able to spread that message so that groups can come forward and apply for defibrillators, because when someone has an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, every minute matters.
I mean, that is quite recent. To me, that's quite recent. 10 years. I still think 1995 was like 10 years ago. So that's the maths in my brain. What difference can the defibrillator make in terms of how far away they are? Like you say, in the areas of St Anne's and Mapley, and for example, if they're a bit more out of reach, how significant is that difference?
So there are 30,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests every year in the UK. Most of those happen inside the home. So around 80% of those will happen inside the home around a loved one. So we're not, although they do, we're not necessarily talking about at sports centres or in shopping centres or in train stations. Most people who have an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest will have one witnessed just by their loved ones. So it's really important that those defibs are out in communities so that their loved ones can get to them as quickly as possible. Every minute without CPR and defibrillation can reduce someone's chances of survival by 10%. So we're talking really stark figures here that when someone has an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, they need CPR straight away and they need early defibrillation to have the very best chance of survival. We need defibrillators on scene within 2 to 3 minutes for that person to have a good outcome. In the groups in the areas that I've mentioned, so Carlton, St Anne's, Mapley, we're talking on average an 880 metre distance. That's a straight line distance from a defib. So 1.6, 1.7 kilometers there and back. If someone has a cardiac arrest, that's a really, really far way to travel, a lot of minutes lost to get that defib onto the patient. And that's why we're urging groups in those areas to come forward and apply for a funded package.
To speed things up then, I guess, we see them around. How do we use them?
Of course. So the first thing you do, someone who's stopped breathing, chances are they're in cardiac arrest. If the scene is safe to proceed, we're going to go try and wake them up. We're checking for breathing. If they are not breathing, we're calling 999 straight away. Help is on the way. They will ask someone to start CPR. They'll give all the instructions. They'll say, place a hand in the center of the patient's chest, place the other hand on top, lock your fingers together. They'll count with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. They will keep that CPR going on the phone. They will also ask if someone can go and get the nearest public access defibrillator. So if there's someone who can go and get that, they will tell them where the nearest defibrillator is, give them any access information. From there on in, the call handler and the defib itself will give all the instructions. As soon as the device is switched on, it will say, have you called 999? Call 999 now. If not, as I mentioned, you do that first, but it will remind you if not. It will ask to put the pads on the patient and it will tell you exactly where they go and tell you exactly what to do next.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sam. Thank you so much. And that information is all important as well. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's have another look at your top story, and that's the news. The footbridge over Nottingham railway station will close for a second time, maybe even permanently, later this month. East Midlands Railway want to clamp down on fare evaders, and they confirmed the news on Friday evening. That means passengers must enter and exit through the station's main entrance on Carrington Street. EMR says fare dodging is causing a loss of more than £1 million, but the decision's been criticised by businesses and local politicians. Jack Sims has been to find out why.
A bridge too far? That is the question being asked by passengers and business owners as East Midlands Railway announces its second closure of Nottingham's train station's footbridge. The footbridge provides passengers with access to both Queen's Road and Station Street without needing to go through the ticket barriers at the station's main entrance. It also allows people to move between platforms as well. EMR originally trialled a closure back in October last year, suggesting the route was being used by fare dodgers and costing the operator over £1 million a year. But last Friday, the train company said it will once again be shutting the footbridge on February the 22nd, though pedestrians can still access the bridge. The decision has been criticised not just by passengers but by politicians too, with MPs Lillian Greenwood and Nadia Whittome saying that they were disappointed by the move. But the closure could also be causing losses for other businesses too, such as Pete Russell, co-owner of Hopkinson Cafe Bar and Antiques. He says, like the public, they don't feel the impact of the closure is being considered.
I think the main issue in this situation is that there doesn't seem to be much compromise from EMR at all. There doesn't seem to be much consideration of the public, the council, the local businesses. It's just what they want to do, they're going to do. Their clientele is the public. So to go so blatantly out of their way to just ignore what the vast majority of people have been saying about what they've been doing it's a bit scary from a big company like that, really.
We also spoke with passengers about how they feel about the footbridge's future.
So I know why they're doing it, because they're saying that people are skipping the barrier and not paying fares, but no need to go totally over the top. If they just had proper ticket inspectors on the train, it wouldn't be a problem.
I mean, I can speak from experience. I get the train from Langley Mill 2 or 3 times a week and hardly ever have my ticket checked. So if they were checking tickets on the train, that would make a lot more sense to me. Also, there's barriers. You can put barriers on the exits from the station and have the bridge carrying on as a footpath through, and passengers can use it then as well.
In a statement, East Midlands Railway have said the closure, which will be kept under review, will allow us to capture more data and evidence on the issue. We are aware this decision will not be popular, but it is only right to protect the taxpayer and test our analysis and conclusions that were highlighted around safety. But by minding its profit gap, the decision by EMR may burn more bridges than it builds. Jack Sims, 4Nots TV.
Right, let's have a look at more news headlines. Police have clamped down on car cruisers causing nuisance around parts of the county, including the M1. Nottinghamshire Police have been taking part in a new scheme called Operation Wheelspin, targeting antisocial drivers and illegal street racing. On Saturday, a vehicle was seized around junction 27 of the M1 near Ashfield after ignoring an order to stop being involved in car cruising. Another Beeston man was given a warning by police for similar reasons near Trent Bridge in Nottingham on Sunday. Police have launched a CCTV appeal after a house was targeted several times on Christmas Day. Officers were notified about several unsuccessful break-in attempts on Andover Road in Bestwood between 4:40 and 5:10 on the evening of December the 25th. Officers say a fifth attempt at entering the property was when the suspect smashed up the house's CCTV camera and left with it. They've released this image that you can see now and say anybody who can help can contact them on 101. Now, do you think it's okay that you have to pay more to take children away in school holidays? A lot more, actually. Well, on the way, you're going to hear about the petition that's been set up in Here Not to give parents flexibility in taking children away on holiday during school time. It's got more than 1,000 signatures. We'll find out next. Hello, welcome back to Monday's show. I'm Al, thank you for being here. This is what's happening. Reform UK has its second councillor in Ashfield. That's after a Selsdon politician defected from the Ashfield Independents. Councillor Andy Gascoigne says he wants to see drastic change and doesn't want to be part of the Ashfield Independents, which he says are embedded in the council chamber. He joins Reform UK, which also has Lee Anderson as its Member of Parliament, alongside Dawn Justice, meaning the two politicians have become the official opposition at Ashfield District Council. Rushcliffe Borough Council wants the public's views on a public order aimed at reducing dog fouling. The Conservative-led authority wants to renew its public spaces protection order from the control of dogs, with the renew order covering the whole of the borough except Tollerton. It will target people not picking up dog waste, restrict dogs to leads in some areas and even ban them from other public areas as well. A consultation is open from now until March the 7th, with the order due to be enforced from July. Now, we are getting to that time of year where sixth formers and college pupils are preparing for one of the most important times of their lives. Sitting A-levels and heading off into the world of further education or employment is a stressful time. One Nottingham school, though, has been told it's doing an outstanding job in preparing pupils for the future, and it only opened back in 2022. The sixth form at Genogley City Academy was inspected by Ofsted back in December. It had its report published last month, and Harrison Evans went to find out what happened.
Outstanding. That's how Ofsted inspectors described the sixth form here at Genogley City Academy in Nottingham. And it's a grading which came at the right time as pupils here prepare to take their exams and reach their full potential. From David Attenborough to Barack Obama and Taylor Swift, pictures and quotes of famous faces litter the walls of the school, encouraging students to reach for the stars. And despite the school having a high proportion of young people who speak English as a second language, the Academy believes all students should be provided with the platforms to kickstart a career regardless of background or ability.
I was really excited when we got the judgment because it justifies everything that we've been doing here. And we really needed to support those students that aren't in education or employment after they finished. So the thinking behind from the school's point of view is that we open a sixth form to support that. So these students are now being given opportunities here to go on and study at university or apprenticeships, whether that's higher apprenticeships or degree apprenticeships.
Inspectors from Ofsted visited the school in December and found the sixth form provided a transformative environment. Students also agree. They believe that the sixth form has given them the skills to pursue an avenue they thought was once not possible.
When I joined in sixth form, I had quite low expectations of myself. I didn't think I was going to go on to higher education, but actually the teachers gave me a lot of support and guidance, and they were able to help me realise my potential. The sixth form has given me support via the pathways that they create, which has made it really accessible, and it's given me like a structured plan of what I should be doing. They also continuously pushed me to go for different opportunities, to find my own independence and confidence.
Since I did move to England 4 or 5 years ago, and I was not confident speaking in English at all, sixth form has helped me to really be more confident in speaking English, in speaking in front of a lot of people.
Since it was founded 2 years ago, the facilities have helped people towards studying physics in Edinburgh, engineering at the University of Nottingham, and tailored apprenticeships at local businesses too. Principal Andy Smith said he was proud of the sixth form's achievement, and they wouldn't have been able to get there without the hard work from the students and staff.
I couldn't be more proud. I really couldn't. I mean, the work ethic across the whole of our sixth form here is just exceptional, and the quality of the wider provision that Mr. Irons and his team here provide is also truly exceptional.
This sixth form is looking towards the future, but you certainly won't mind reminiscing on what a progressive 2 years it's been. Harrison Evans for Notts TV.
Brilliant, isn't it? Right, more school news now. Our next guest is on a mission to make school holidays more flexible. Andy Gillen has started a petition to allow parents to take a week from the current set school holiday dates and use it at any other time of their choice in the school year. He says it's going to help them avoid soaring costs and fines as well from head teachers. The petition currently has more than 1,000 signatures, and it's been acknowledged by local MP for Nottingham North, Alex Norris. And he's here now to tell us why he set it up and what he wants to achieve. It's a very intriguing, as a parent, I'm very intrigued by this. So Andy, why did you set this up then?
It's always been bugging me. I mean, it started in the 1990s. I took me kids out of school to go. I don't know if you remember American Adventure.
Yeah.
And I put my hands up. I took them out of school because that was the best time to go. It was free to go on every ride, everything. It was very quiet, and usually because I took them there, it's because in the August time, I was a HGV driver and I couldn't get a week off.
Right. Yeah.
And I couldn't get a week, so I had to sort of think of something else and do local. Sometimes on August I'd pinch a week, go sick and take them on holiday, because that's only way I could do it.
Yeah.
And then last year I took my grandson, who had an inside day, and his little brother up to Sundown, up Retford, for the day. I checked on the behind lap. It was a lovely day, going to be a lovely day. Took them up there, and the same there. And I videoed the area we were in, and nobody else was there.
Right.
And this is June. This is the summer in this country.
Yeah.
What a waste.
And then kids were still obviously at school at that time.
Yeah. And we lost the American Adventure in 2007.
Yeah.
I would hate it if we lost this place as well.
Okay. So you've got grandkids now, which is why you're starting the petition now.
I've got 10 grandkids.
10 grandkids?
Yeah.
Flipping it, that is going to add up then, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you all go on a family holiday in August or whatever. And the prices they jump. You can go on any website and you see the jump.
Well, as part of my research, I looked at this week for 4, 2 adults, 2 children, and for the 16th of, or 17th is it, February, for school holidays.
Yeah.
And the difference was 1,500.
Yeah, it's a huge
How many
increase.
wages is that? As another week's wage?
Yeah.
Or more?
It's not cheap. But
definitely not.
So I get where you're coming from, absolutely. Like I say, I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. But logistically, how possible is this to take them out any time of the year? I mean, what's your idea?
There's always a solution to a problem, isn't there?
There is.
You know, if we look at it, if you've got a class of 26, 30, if 2 children off, it'd be like work if you can only have 2 employees off on that particular week. It's spread over 3 quarters of the year, because at the moment most of the population, it's teachers, children, parents, grandparents like me, because I'm stuck, and there's 7 million grandparents stuck on that. You know, we take them to school, we bring them back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't like to ask my daughter to take a week off when the kids are at school so I can have a cheap holiday. I couldn't do that. Okay. So the way it would work is we'd use the 2 children off the maximum.
Right.
And whatever they've missed that week, we would use iPads. Load it up, give it to the parents, look, this is what they missed, tick it off, learn it with them. On a one-to-one, which is a lot better than the classroom environment.
So like the homeschooling?
Yeah.
Right.
And then it would, I believe it would be better. And if a child...
Would you still have the school summer holidays? Is that what you...
You still have a school holiday, but a lot of people say August is too long.
Mm.
You just take one of them, and for the teachers as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you would have... That's the only way it would work.
Right.
And I think they deserve to have a week off when they want as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, my sister-in-laws are teachers and it's all... Okay. Alex Norris, MP of Nottingham North,
Yeah.
is he back in this? What's he said?
I went to him because I've never done anything like this.
Okay.
And I went for him for advice, and because he told me he's done a lot of campaigning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was complaining about the city council.
What did he say about this? Sorry, because we've got time.
The city council wanted to charge me 400 about leaflets.
Right.
And I was disgusted at that because I'm not making anything. It's costing me to make the flyers personally.
What did he say? Sorry, because we've run out of time, so I want to...
He said that he's never heard of that before.
Okay.
And he's always seen people near the Brian Clough statue giving talks and whatever. But he said he was going to write, he wrote to Secretary of State.
Right.
And he gave me some advice, you know, do what you're doing, go to schools, advise schools that you're going to be there.
Okay.
And push for that.
And how can we find, just very quickly, how can we find the petition?
Okay.
How can you find it, for people to get involved?
On the website.
Yep.
Flex-a-Week petition on change.org.
That's great. Thanks, Andy. Thank you so much. Right, let's move on. That's something you can see on Notts TV. It's the regional culture show Arts Pods. You can see an interview with Matilda the musical creators, Tim Minchin and Dennis Kelly. It's this.
Looking back, could you have envisaged it would be the huge success that it's gone on to be?
Dennis,
yeah, we knew. We definitely.
Dennis
we
thought
had
10
no
mil,
idea.
didn't you? You were like, I reckon 10 mil.
If I can hit 5 mil, I'll be happy. No. I mean, we didn't know for a minute. Like, you know, we were doing a Christmas show at the RSC. You know what I mean? And so I don't think we really had a view of it being much more than. I think you and Matthew probably had a wiser thought about, you know, this could have a West End life. But because
Matthew Walsh is
the director. But because, I mean, I was writing, my day job is to write grimy little plays that upset.
To us in May. Right, another look at your photo of the day. This is Makenda Louise, took this at Trent Bridge. Let's have a look at your weather. It's going to be dry, cold tonight, lows of 5. Tomorrow, highs of double figures, 11 degrees. It's practically springtime, isn't it? Not quite. Right, thanks for being here with me today. I'll be back at 5:30 tomorrow for more Notts Today, whatever you're up to tonight. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.